Hey everyone, it's Kiara and I'm back with another YouTube video. On this YouTube video, I am showcasing my curly bouncy locks today, but we're not talking about locks. We're actually going to talk about my recent trip to Portugal. I went to Europe for the first time. We decided on Portugal. So I'm gonna share a little bit more about what that experience was like as a Black American in Portugal. Okay, so first and foremost, we're gonna talk about why we decided on Portugal for the first place. So we went to Portugal. My husband just got his doctorate. Yes. So we decided to celebrate with a trip to Portugal. We traveled throughout Central and Southern America, Asia, mainly the Caribbean. I love the Caribbean, but we decided to switch it up and go to Europe. I've always been curious about Europe. I've always been curious about the different type of lifestyles out there. And so we went ahead and went. But why did we choose Portugal? So I've always wanted to go to Portugal because I've seen this picture of this like really beautiful cave and this light kind of shining through the cave, and I was like, oh my god, where is that? And when I was in the SaaS space, in the software space, I had a client that actually lived in Portugal. So she lived in Portugal. She's like, here, are you 11 in Portugal? I was like, I don't know about Europe like that. She's like, why? I said, I don't know how taking they are to people like me. I know that there are people like me out there, but I kind of feel like if I'm gonna travel somewhere, I want to make sure I don't feel too different. I want to just feel cool. I don't want to feel like dealing with any microaggressions. I don't want to deal with any of that type of stuff. I mean, we're in America. We have our issues. I'm in California. We have passive aggressive issues out here. But if we're spending our money, our ching, to go somewhere, I want to make sure that the experience is enjoyable. So my client at the time told me that I would really enjoy it. She shared a little bit more about just the progressive movements there. And actually, throughout my time and my years in LA, I've been meeting people that actually have friends in Portugal. I've met people that actually went as well. I know people that have gone and had a great time. So I said, hey, maybe this is a time to go to Europe. We didn't actually go see that beautiful cave, so we're due for a second trip, but we did check out Porto and Lisbon. So my first impression as a Black American of Porto and Lisbon was more so like a comparative impression at first. Porto is like Portland to me. Like it's like a hilly Portland with a bunch of stairs. That's one thing I will say about Portugal. If you are not someone that is very active, you don't like to walk, that might not be the place for you, because a 10-minute walk out there, at least in the cities we're at, like Lisbon and Porto, a 10-minute walk, you are climbing up the stairs. If Portugal was a machine at the gym, it'd be the Stairmaster. Those hills were absurd, but hey, I loved it. Because as you climb those hills, there's so much beautiful art and things of that nature. So I was taken away with the beauty of the landscape. Very, very different than what we see on the West Coast. Our homes are very flat and just like wide. Their homes kind of go up. It was just very, very beautiful. And I don't really see a lot of places like that. So the architecture immediately blew us away. Both Lisbon, both Porto were very, very beautiful. And Lisbon reminds me of New York. I would say that actually Lisbon's way more diverse. I saw way more Black people in Lisbon. It's just as diverse, I would say, as certain parts of the US. Lisbon really shocked me because it was way more diverse than I thought. Porto is much slower. I mean, we were like walking around at 9:30, like where are the vibes at? And maybe we just didn't know enough, but I'm sure there was a lot to do, but we were like in Lisbon during the weekend time and the vibes were more lit there, I would say. Something else I will say, a impression I had of, I guess, Portugal, I don't know if this applies to all of Europe, but they smoke a lot of cigarettes. I did not like that. I even try to do the guilty cough that, like we do out here, at least in California, when folks are smoking, because it's a little bit taboo now to smoke cigarettes like that, at least where I live in LA. So I try to do the guilty cough and stuff, but people did not care. They were just smoking those things and things of that nature. Yeah, I would also say that people eat very slow there. They drink very slow. They chew very slow, and they just are very present. Folks aren't really scrolling as much as, at least what I see in LA. People are very centered and in the presence itself. I find that the food out there is about 20% cheaper than the food out here, for sure. And like we ate at one of the very nice 5-star restaurants out there. And, you know, I think if we ate at a similar place out here, we would have spent like $300. Oh, and water, when it comes to water, just so you know, water is not just given to you, you know, for free. Like, you can't get 5, 6, 7 cups of water like we can out here in the US. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to get like a bunch of water refills. You have to pay for the water bottles out there. I was a little dehydrated. I'm not gonna lie. I was dehydrated out there. Yeah, and then also I would say the beds. I would say this is a con. I like a little pillow bed. I like to feel like I'm on a cloud with a little tiny bit of firmness. We want to do, you know, the puffiness, the cloud. Those beds are very firm. Now, did we feel welcomed? Okay, so I would say yes. I didn't really feel like we dealt with any racism or like hyper racism or, you know, racial microaggressions. I think for us, at least I can speak for myself, I felt a bit weird in certain places. And I feel like maybe it's because of the American accent. It's crazy because the intersectionality of being a Black American travel, I've dealt with microaggressions that weren't necessarily racial, but more so like nationality microaggressions. I've met with Black people in Thailand and they totally stereotyped us because we're Black people from LA. We were told in Thailand like, oh, aren't you afraid that you're gonna die when you step out of your house every day? Very rude. Some girls from Australia, yeah, like there's a lot of things I could say about the Australian Black experience, but I, you know, keep that to myself. People aren't really feeling us Americans that much anymore, and I can't blame them, but it's kind of just I think shows a lack of intelligence because, you know, I'm not the administration. I'm a Black American. I have my own issues that I deal with. We have our own issues that we deal with, but just keep in mind that like when you get to talking or depending on what kind of brands you're wearing, folks are going to pick up that you're from America, and I think that's where the differences start to plug and play. And not to say that racism doesn't exist, because it does. Like, if you're Black, you're never really lonely because folks are in your business. No, but when you're Black, no matter where you're from, is something that we do have to navigate. Some folks are not comfortable with differences. Some folks are very immature and very unintelligent. And some folks have mental health issues. Racism is a mental health issue. It's already proven. So we just want to pray for those mental health issues. Does being Black in Portugal feel different than being Black in America? I guess we weren't there long enough to really know. We were there for 8 days. We met up with a friend's sister out there and her partner, and they had great things to say. But there's problems in any place, I would say, as a Black person. And as a Black American person, I think for sure we have our own unique experience. They be doing us dirty, y'all. They be doing. If life was a video game, we would definitely have level difficulty when it comes to navigating these weird dynamics, because America is not being perceived in the best light for a valid reason. But as Black Americans, generations and generations and generations and generations and generations in America, foundational Black Americans, like, I don't think it made a difference for me personally. I do want to go back to check out that cave in the Algarve. We are going to have to go out there. So that is on my list. All right, my name's Kiara Cherie. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube video. I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about my travel experience. This is my first really full-form travel video. But yes, I definitely want to share my experiences with you because I know it's important as a Black woman, as a Black American, as a Black person, period, to know, hey, if I go somewhere, what is my experience going to be like on average? So if that type of content interests you, feel free to follow along. Feel free to subscribe if you're into micrologs. If you'd like to follow my microlog journey, I make plenty of videos like that as well. And I also just make videos about wellness and social dynamics as well. So if any of that interests you, I'm your girl. All right, guys. Again, my name's Kiara Cherie. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.